about 3 years ago or so, we started having Choose Your Destiny live intensives about once a quarter. And over the course of 3 years, these workshops, these live intensive workshops have gotten increasingly powerful and impactful and beneficial. And when we started back in, 2022, I believe, August of 2022, something like that, when we started, the workshop was really about creating, and expanding your circumstances. It was about the creation process, clarity, certainty, and commitment. And I used to actually hold up, if you're watching online on video, I'm pointing to 7 books that are right above my head in my studio, and I used to hold up those books and talk about how these books all talk about the creation process, just in different ways, and how they all say the same thing. There's a very, very simple creation process. It's not always easy, but it's very simple. It's clarity, certainty, and commitment. So to get really, really clear about what you want in your life, empty your body of all the worry, fear, doubt, anxiety, all the things that would make you feel like you couldn't have it. And you do this through release techniques, and then remain committed and take inspired action, be patient in the process, and receive it. And when you demonstrate and execute this creation process, the what is always up to you. The how and the when are not, but it's not an if it'll show up, it's a when it'll show up. And the creation process has been proven, and it's worked in my life. It doesn't always work as quickly as you want. And that's part of the patience thing. That's part of the commitment. It's remaining in the game until it shows up. But life rewards people who remain committed to their clarity and who do the work of letting go of all the internal resistance and internal tension that would separate you from the experience of seeing this materialize in the world. And sometimes it takes, and I've worked on things for a year, I've worked on things for 2 years, but inevitably things showed up. Well, when we launched the workshop, I taught this process, and I taught it very, let's say, superficially, and I really didn't unpack the work, the certainty work that was really required to make this process go. I didn't really unpack the certainty work. And what that means is there's embodiment meditation, that where you literally retune and readjust your body, your cells, your energy, your energetic makeup, literally your DNA. You rewire your mind and your body to remain in alignment and to stay attuned to it, to feel like you already have it. And that requires some time and some willingness to be still, to set in meditation, and to allow the future to exist in your body and mind now. This requires some deep, deep somatic work. That's embodiment work. Then there's also shadow work. Shadow work is getting into your body and finding out why the fear is there and letting it go. Finding out why the doubt is there and letting it go. Finding out why the anxiety is there and letting it go. These things have accumulated in your body and in your energy patterns and in your cells over time. They've accumulated and they live there. And over time, as we navigate life and as we experience things that somewhat we prefer and some that we don't prefer, oftentimes things that we don't prefer, the emotions that we'd rather not feel, the fear and the anger and the guilt and the shame, these things accumulate in our body, and that's what creates a nervous system that keeps resistance to what you want, that builds up in your body. And in Sanskrit, the word is called samskaras. It's the stored pain, the stored trauma that accumulates in your body. There's different release methods for it. There's EFT and tapping, and there's also meditation, and there's also like Reiki and so many cranial sacral therapy. There's so many release techniques, so many things that can help us release all this energy in our body, and shadow work's one of them. But shadow work is, to me, in my opinion, the most powerful and impactful because it gets to the root of it immediately, and it allows you to feel it, to discover it, to amplify it, and to release it from your body. But it's very, very deep work. And in our workshops, I wouldn't necessarily go into depth or detail about what this deep work was. I would just talk about clarity, certainty, and commitment. And we do a little bit of like discussing about certainty, but I really didn't expose the audience. I really didn't expose the student body to that deep work, that somatic work that's required to rearrange energy in your body so that you start to feel more free. You start to feel less resistance in your body. You start to feel less anxiety. You start to feel less pain and less fear. You let go of the doubt. You let go of the accumulated nonsense that's in your body so that you can, as you empty yourself, you experience a less resistance in this world to what you want, and it closes the timeline. But I didn't necessarily go into depth and detail about that work. And since I played a very superficial game, and I talked about clarity, certainty, and commitment, and since the world, to note, I'm not disparaging anyone, and I'm literally not, there's no judgment of this, but this is just a truth that I've observed over time. Most people in this world are playing a very superficial game, playing a very material game. They just, if they feel something in their body, they just want to rearrange the circumstances to make that feeling go away. It's a very superficial game. There's a chase for wealth. There's a chase for success. There's a chase to build a business. There's chase, there's hustle, there's grind. And this is why there's so many people that honor and adore the hustle and the grind and believe that that's the only way to the promised land. That this is why the grind gurus and hustle whores make a lot of friggin' money in this world. And the more intuitive, the more somatic, the more energetic, the more spiritual teachers in this world don't always reap the full fruits and rewards of the work we do because people are in a superficial chase. Most people, not all people, most people are in a superficial chase, and that's really what they're after. And when I was in this, when I used to run the Choose Your Destiny live intensives, when I ran them at a superficial level, a lot of those people came into the mastermind to experience a superficial mastermind. And then here's what happened: is once they got behind my doors, once they got into the mastermind, and I was teaching these spiritual principles, and I was teaching this deep somatic work, and I was teaching these things, and when we'd retreat and I'd take them on these deep experiences and meditations, they necessarily didn't want that part. They just wanted the superficial chase, the superficial game. And over time, when I was playing the superficial game in Choose Your Destiny live intensives, it built fast with a bunch of great people, awesome human beings. There's nothing wrong with them. They're great human beings. But it built with people that wanted the superficial chase, and that's really what they were after. And then as soon as their agreement expired, they would leave because the work that was required within the container wasn't really what they were after. And it was almost like I did an unconscious switcheroo, and it was unintended, but it was a switcheroo that I'd be superficial in the workshop, but really deep and spiritual and meaningful and energetic inside the container. And that was a mismatch of energy and alignment. And it built fast, and then it shrunk fast. Today's Inner Wealth Mastermind has there's probably 30-ish people in the mastermind. And we have amazing calls in all of our sessions, and we have 6 different calls. We have a men's call, a women's call. We have my mastermind call, my flagship, where it's very spiritually oriented. It's very community oriented. It's very teaching oriented. We also have a business call where we're building aligned businesses with our design, with our purpose, and with our destiny. We also have a very spiritual book study where we run chapter by chapter through a spiritual book to help build some spiritual principles and some of these energetic principles in our lives. And we have these, we also have what's fast becoming my favorite call. We call it the Soul Sciences, and it's natal astrology and human design and the gene keys and soul contracts and Mayan astrology and the life you were born to live. And we take all these mystical systems and we study them so that we can increase our ability to show up powerfully aligned in our, and I'll use these 3 words a lot, in our design, in our purpose, and in our own unique destiny, because we're not all here for the same things. And the Inner Wealth Mastermind, in its current format and its current evolution as it sits, is the most connected, is the most integrated, is the most powerful, is the most impactful version that we've ever experienced. And here's the ironic part of this. Right now, it's not easy to get people to join us in pursuit of what we want and what we're after and what we learn and what we teach and what we practice and what we exercise and what we demonstrate in the world and who we're becoming in the world. When it was really superficial, it was really easy to get superficial people into the mastermind. But now that it's deepening, it's become, there's been more hesitancy to really jump in to the deep work that we do. And that's okay. I'm learning. We're learning. That's okay. But also, as the impact inside the container grows, so does my desire to impact more people in that way and not from a superficial standpoint. And I'm no longer after the people that won't do the work, that don't want to do the work. So what have I done? When I have a Choose Your Destiny Live intensive, I still teach the creation process, clarity, certainty, and commitment. But for 2 days, we do the deep somatic work that is part of the Inner Wealth Mastermind and part of the journey and part of the work. So that when I say, are you doing the work? These folks know exactly what I'm talking about. Because in the Choose Your Destiny Live Intensive, we do this work, and I lead live meditation, and I powerfully and impactfully bring them through deep somatic experiences to rewire and rearrange what's happening in their mind and body, and to release the old, expired, traumatic, painful emotion that's trapped in the body, and let it go so that it can be replaced by something higher level. And when we retreat twice a year, we're getting ready to go to Nashville, Tennessee. We've got an Airbnb about half an hour outside of Nashville, Tennessee this year in April. And the mastermind stays together in this retreat house. And I lead meditation in these 2 days, across these 2 days. And we do deep spiritual work together, and we learn deep spiritual philosophical lessons and equip ourselves with new skills and new tools and new techniques, to like the drill method, like my new iteration of the drill method, where I've already applied for the trademark, where drop into your body, recognize what's in there, inquire what's happening inside of you and why it's there, listen to it and let it speak and let it go. And when we practice the drill method, we begin over time to empty our body of all the internal conflicts and turmoil, the internal agitation that makes you need to hustle and grind to try to escape that shit. Since I've rearranged the Choose Your Destiny live intensive, it's not as many people convert into the mastermind because that deep work frightens a lot of people. That deep work is deeply uncomfortable, and not everybody wants the discomfort of the deep work, the deep spiritual work that is going to create and promote peace and harmony and internal prosperity, inner wealth in their body. Most people on this planet just want more money, more relationships, more houses, more cars, more business results to try to bury the noise, the agitation, the dis-ease, the disharmony that's in their body. And that's not what the Inner Wealth Mastermind's about. It is about expanding our circumstances, but there's two outcomes that we put first. There's three outcomes for Inner Wealth Global, for my business, Inner Wealth Global. There's three outcomes that we shoot for on a daily basis and in every program we launch. Number one is to lessen the grip that fear, anxiety, doubt have over us and how much it impacts, rules our lives, and rules our decision making. And that is deep, deep somatic work. This is deep energy work. It's getting into your body, getting deep into your being, into the shadows, and letting that shit go so that there's less of it to deal with over time. And that requires work, and it requires a willingness and the ability to go deep. And not many people, not a lot of people are willing to go that deep. In a world of 8.22 billion, I would say there's only a couple percent of the population that's willing to go that deep and dive into themselves to understand what the hell is happening in there. Dropping into the body, recognizing what's happening in their body and what they're feeling, inquiring, why are you here? How did you get here? What are you trying to teach me? Listening to what it has to say, because it'll tell you, and then letting it go. This is deep somatic work. And number one outcome is to lessen the grip that fear, anxiety, doubt, all this stuff inside of our body has over us in how we live our life. Number two is to deepen our connection with our design, our purpose, and our destiny. Listen, you have a genetic blueprint inside of you. Whether you know it or not, you have a genetic blueprint inside of you that's not like any other genetic blueprint on the face of the planet, of anybody on the face of the planet. So to want what somebody else wants just because they want it, to compare yourself to others, to try to fit in is literally an act of self-rejection, because you're not like anybody else. You're not built to want what other people want just because they want it. You're not here with the same talents and gifts as everybody and what they have. But you have a unique package and a unique blend of desires, of talents, and dreams and aspirations. And in your design, in your purpose, and in your destiny, we'll unlock that and we'll find that. But it requires a level of self-awareness and of self-examination, self-reflection that most people are not equipped and not ready to handle, because they'd rather look outside for the answers instead of the inside. And this is why our soul science study in the Inner Wealth Mastermind, that's why it exists. That's why I am a teacher of the soul sciences. That's why I've learned and I've studied gene keys and human design and natal astrology. That's why I've studied soul contracts. That's why I've studied all these programs, all these systems, all these things that, and then I teach them inside of the Inner Wealth Mastermind. And sometimes I've even had webinars outside, but I teach these things because they show you and they help you understand and dive deeper into your own genetic blueprint. And if you don't know your uniqueness, if you don't understand what separates you from everyone else, not better or worse, just separate, we're all equally significant, just like everybody else. We're all the most significant person on the planet, just like everybody else. But if you don't know your energetic signature and what your soul came here to experience, not what the mind and the ego wants, but what the soul came here to experience, if you're not in tune with your soul's destiny, not your ego's destiny, but if you're not in tune with what your soul, the purpose that your soul incarnated to experience, and the design, the talents, and everything else that you have at your disposal to guide you along that path. If you don't have a depth of self-concept and self-awareness that match your blueprint, you're leaving a lot on the table, and you're probably going to live a life perfect for somebody else. And that's what the soul sciences can help us reveal and unpack. And then number three outcome is to expand our circumstances in an aligned and inspired way so that we're always in creation mode and not survival mode. And it's these three that guide every single thing that I do every day in terms of what I teach, what I write, what I podcast, decisions I make for the Inner Wealth community and for Inner Wealth Global. Because those are the three outcomes that we desire most. Number one being to be internally free and to know how to deal with the fear and the worry and the doubt and the anxiety that most people are running from, most people are experiencing, but very few are equipped to actually relieve without padding them with circumstances or escaping them through drugs and alcohol and work and anything else, that endless hours of television. Most people don't want to go inside and experience that, so they find a way to ignore it. We go into the body to find it so we can release it and let it go and rewire our own energetic makeup and our own energetic, or actually empty it so that we can live more powerfully and more authentically. And when we do develop that unique, authentic, powerful self-concept and understand who we are, how we're built, what we're after, where we're going, then life begins to align and those circumstances begin to expand in a more aligned, inspired, and meaningful way. Guys, here's why I'm doing this episode today. I'm not looking for a lot. We've got some room in the Inner Wealth Mastermind, and I'm not looking for a lot. I'm looking for, at any given time, I'm looking for 2 to 3, maybe, new students. All right. And when I talk about we have a capacity of 25 seats in the Inner Wealth Mastermind, and a husband and wife or a partnership will not business partners, but life partners. A partnership is 1 seat. And we're always looking for not only great partners to come in, because we have a men's call and a women's call, and we do a lot of work with, making sure that we understand, our not roles, but how to keep the wheels on a partnership. Because if one person's growing fast and the other person's not growing, then you're going to grow apart. But we're always looking for couples to come into the Inner Wealth Mastermind, but it's not exclusively for couples. We have a lot of people that are single in there that are just after personal development, that are just after spiritual development, that are just after emptying their body of fear and worry, doubt, anxiety, and stepping into their design, their purpose, and their destiny, and then expanding their circumstance from there. That's who we're after. We're after those spiritual warriors who are willing to get really, really deep with us, and who are willing to learn those tools and techniques, and to be able to support other people in the mastermind in our community, in our family, in using those tools to lead and live on the spiritual path, the deep path, the one that promotes and creates freedom, real freedom, inner wealth. Because if this sounds like something you'd be interested in, I'm no longer playing the superficial game. This isn't about the superficial game for me anymore. The creation process works, but if you're not willing to get in and clear out the damage, the pain, the struggle, the chaos that's accumulated in the body, then this probably isn't for you. Unless you're willing to learn and willing to do things that are different, that are more innovative, that are outside of the norm, and you want to learn how to do that, and you're willing to commit to come in and do the work with us, then I'd love to have a conversation. There's a lot of different ways to get in contact with me. Mike@innerwealthglobal.com is the easiest one. All right. You can go through the website, innerwealthglobal.com. You can fill out a contact form on the website and just tell me you're interested, and we'll have a conversation. All right. I'd love to have more members and reach capacity of the Inner Wealth Mastermind so that we have the right people, not a lot of, not everybody, but have the right people who are the real spiritual warriors in this world, who's ready to go as work deep inside themselves as they are in their businesses and in their life. If that sounds like you, I'd love to have a conversation with you. All right. If you just want to still play on the outskirts, right, and just be on the outside and not ready to lean in yet, I'm going to throw the meditation package, my free meditation bundle. I'm going to throw the link in the show notes. Go grab that meditation bundle, and inside of that, there's the work and the tools that we use in the Inner Wealth Mastermind. Get the work, do the work. Just because you're not part of the Inner Wealth Mastermind doesn't mean that I don't want to help. All right, and that meditation bundle can help. But guys, not many in this world are ready to go deep. And I hope you are, because that's where freedom really and inner wealth really live.